All right, quick warning before we dive in. Full spoilers ahead for Alien Earth, especially Episode 5. If you haven't seen it yet, this is your chance to pause, watch it, and then come back. Because today, we're talking about a hidden scene that almost everyone overlooked, a scene that might just rewrite the entire Alien timeline. And no, this isn't some throwaway Easter egg. This is the kind of detail that, once you notice it, makes you rethink everything we thought we knew about the Alien universe. Episode 5 takes us deeper into the Maginot, and this is where the set design starts to speak its own language. Literally. Around the 003627 mark, if you pause on the bulkhead panels, you'll notice something striking. At first glance, they just look like industrial circuits or machinery plates. But when you compare them side by side with the glyphs we saw in Prometheus, the very same language David studied through his helmet feed, the resemblance is hard to ignore. In Prometheus, the engineer script is carved in glowing lines, circles, triangles, and strokes, arranged like some alien mathematics. And here, in Alien Earth, we see panels that echo that same structural logic. Rows of compartments, geometric divisions, even repeating line patterns that feel less like random ship plating and more like the ghost of a language burned into technology. It doesn't matter whether this was intentional foreshadowing by the showrunners or just subconscious design carryover. The effect is the same. It ties Alien Earth directly back into the visual language of the engineers. It tells us we're not just on another human ship. We're brushing against a much older, much stranger influence. And Weyland-Yutani? You can bet they'd recognize it immediately. The same one Weyland-Yutani's scientists were obsessing over decades later. And that tiny detail changes everything. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a mark on a wall. Why does it matter? But here's the thing. Nothing in Alien Earth is random. This show has been meticulous with its callbacks, its foreshadowing, and its subtle connections. That symbol isn't decoration. It's storytelling. Because if it exists here on Earth before Weyland-Yutani officially entered the picture, then it means one of two things. One, the company's influence stretches back way further than we realized. Or two, and this is the scarier option, Weyland-Yutani itself may not be entirely human in origin. Let's connect some dots. In Prometheus, that same marking appears in the engineer's temple. It wasn't explained, just left there like a riddle for fans to chew on. In Alien Covenant, early drafts of David's notebooks had sketches with that exact shape, a mark tied to his obsession with creation and control. And in Alien Earth, suddenly it's carved into human structures. This isn't a coincidence. This is the writers threading a needle across multiple decades of lore, daring us to connect the pattern. And it also forces us to ask, if this has been on Earth for so long, then maybe humans weren't just unlucky explorers who stumbled into a nightmare. Maybe the nightmare was planted in us from the very beginning. Think about the Alien franchise as a whole. Every story, no matter the medium, comes back to one theme: control. The xenomorphs are terrifying, yes, but the real horror has always been Weyland-Yutani. A faceless corporation willing to sacrifice anything, entire colonies, crews, even children, just to capture the perfect organism. But if this symbol proves their roots go back centuries, then Weyland-Yutani isn't just greedy. They're inevitable. They're almost mythological. Like they were always meant to rise, always meant to cross paths with the xenomorphs. And if that's true, then what we've been watching all this time isn't humanity's struggle against monsters. It's humanity playing out a script that was written for us long before Ripley ever picked up a flamethrower. And here's where it gets really fun. Go back, rewatch the older films with this theory in mind. Suddenly, little moments stand out differently. Ash's cold loyalty in Alien doesn't feel like just programming. It feels like prophecy. The crew in Aliens walking into Hadley's Hope, not an accident, a setup. Even Ripley's desperate battle in Alien 3, suddenly it feels less like a personal tragedy and more like the final chess move in a game humanity never realized it was playing. That's the beauty of what Alien Earth is doing. It's not just telling a story. It's reframing the entire mythology in real time. So where does this leave us? Honestly, two terrifying possibilities. Option 1. Weyland-Yutani has always been here. Secret societies, shadow companies, maybe even ancient cults that carried their knowledge forward until it became the corporation we know today. Option 2. Weyland-Yutani isn't the creator, they're the puppet. A puppet of something older, something non-human, that's been pulling strings since long before Prometheus ever set foot on LV-223.
And if that's the case, then the company we've hated for decades isn't the villain at all. It's just the mask. The real villain has been hidden in plain sight since the very beginning. Now, before we wrap this theory up, there's something else that might make this symbol even bigger than we thought. And it comes from another corner of this universe, the Predator side. Because if you've seen the trailer for Predator Badlands, you'll know it's not just another hunt story. There's a moment, brief but unmistakable, where Weyland-Yutani's name flashes across a crate of recovered tech. That means the company isn't just messing with xenomorphs. They're tied into the Predator story too. And that changes the game. Because suddenly, Weyland-Yutani isn't just the greedy corporation chasing the perfect organism. They're standing at the crossroads of two ancient nightmares, the xenomorphs and the Yautja. In the Badlands trailer, the camera doesn't linger long, but fans who paused the shot know exactly what I'm talking about. The company logo, stamped on military-grade containers. Which begs the question, what's inside those containers? Predator tech? Captured specimens? Maybe even trophies taken from the Yautja themselves. And if Weyland-Yutani is already collecting Predator tech by the timeline of Badlands, then their obsession with control stretches even further than we realized. Think about it. A corporation not just chasing alien biology, but alien weaponry. That's not survival. That's empire building. And here's why this crossover detail matters. The Predators have always had one rule. The hunt is sacred. They don't give away their tech. They don't share their weapons. And they don't let humans get their hands on their secrets. So if Weyland-Yutani has Predator tech in their possession, it means one of two things. Either they've killed a Predator, which seems almost impossible, or worse, they've struck a deal with one. And if a deal exists, then humanity isn't just a pawn in this universe. We might be an active partner in the nightmare. A willing accomplice to monsters. Now, tie this back to the symbol in Alien Earth. What if that mark isn't just an engineer glyph? What if it's a universal brand? A mark of ownership or legacy that spans multiple species? The engineers, the xenomorphs, the predators, and Weyland-Yutani sitting right in the middle, gathering scraps from every side. That would explain why the company keeps surviving, no matter how many losses they take. They're not just human opportunists. They're custodians of secrets far older than Earth itself. It also reframes Weyland-Yutani's role in a terrifying way. Maybe they're not the ones creating monsters. Maybe they're the ones making sure the monsters never go away. And let's not forget, Badlands isn't even out yet. This is just the trailer, which means the full release might reveal even deeper ties. Imagine if the Predators know about Weyland-Yutani and let them live. That would mean the company has been tolerated by apex hunters because they serve a purpose. Or, if you want to go darker,
Maybe Weyland-Yutani is the reason predators keep showing up on Earth. Maybe the hunts aren't random. Maybe they're staged, facilitated, arranged by humans who think they can control the chaos. That's the beauty of crossovers like this. They don't just expand the lore, they rewire it. Suddenly, Alien Earth and Predator Badlands aren't separate stories. They're different chapters of the same book. And honestly, that might be the scariest idea of all. Because it means humanity's worst enemy isn't an alien monster at all. It's us. We're the ones cutting deals, stockpiling weapons, playing God with forces we barely understand. And Weyland-Yutani is just the mask we hide behind. The symbol in Alien Earth. The crates in Predator Badlands. They're not Easter eggs. They're warnings. Warnings that the universe isn't just dangerous, it's already compromised. And humanity, in its arrogance, has chosen the wrong side. So what do we do with all this? Honestly, the same thing we've always done with the Alien and Predator universe. We wait, we watch, and we overanalyze every single frame. Because whether it's a scratched symbol on a wall in Alien Earth or a company logo hidden in a Predator trailer, these aren't accidents. They're the writers telling us to pay attention.
And if we're right, if Weyland-Yutani really is the thread tying it all together, then the next phase of this franchise won't just be about surviving monsters. It'll be about uncovering the biggest conspiracy in sci-fi history. And that, my friends, is something I can't wait to break down with you in the next video.